Oh, babies.
Thank you, Irene.
Thank you, Irene.
Thank you.
Boys, welcome to
Sweetie.
the show. I hope everyone has had a good week. Let's go ahead and get started with our opening takes. Bill, why don't you start us off?
When the Red Sox win the World Series this year, is Alex Cora going to go down? Is quietly going down as one of the greatest managers in Red Sox history. No disrespect to Tito, who's arguably Terry Francona is arguably the greatest manager in Red Sox history. But look at their trajectory. First season, 11 wins in the World Series. Tito got swept the next year, missed the playoffs the year after, and then won again in 2007. So I mean, they're right on the same path. 108 wins his first year. Tito Francona only maxed out at 98 wins. Right now he's on that path. You throw another World Series in his second in 3 years as manager. I mean, you're making that case right away. And I think right now the way they're playing and just give me the Sox gets the field. World Series. Let's go.
I like it. Some confidence finally, Ray. All it took was 6.5 months for Bill and beating every odd for Bill to have confidence.
And
I thought you were gonna say missed 4 shows and then he comes back to
4 shows missed, and then he comes back with some Red Sox confidence. And
I got a lot of Red Sox shit tonight.
Well, we'll certainly get to it. The manager conversation is interesting because in my it's between 2 guys. So yeah, it's technically true, but who else does he has to go up against except for Francona? Ray, what do you got?
I got from flat earth conspiracy theories to hating my favorite holiday, that is Thanksgiving, to asking what is government. Kyrie Irving thought of himself as Martin Luther King. You can look it up. He's actually referred to himself as a revolutionist. Now being the only superstar left not vaccinated, Kevin Durant, James Harden, and the Brooklyn Nets organizations has turned their back on this insufferable douchebag, and he is all alone, not being able to play in home games. The Nets and KD have decided to part ways with Kyrie Irving and let him miss all of the games and not just the home games.
Yeah, but he's
fucking riddance.
He still gets half his money though, right? Because now they're just
fuck. You don't see him anymore.
Yeah,
the dumpster fire is here
out the door. It's 17 million out the door. I have a hunch. Fridays we do our simplest minds of the week. I have a hunch that might come back up in the show, but we can all do a cumulative toot toot for our Brooklyn Nets hashtag dumpster fire, which has been lit yet again after it caught fire.
I didn't think it would take this long. I gave him Christmas. The season started.
Valentine's Day.
When did the season start? The 21st of December?
Well, let us not forget that dumpster fire really it caught a blaze before they got Harden, because Kyrie had to go on his fucking sabbatical and
after
was doing
7 games,
parties,
right?
skipping COVID rules. Yeah. And then when they got Harden, he really righted that ship. But then Kyrie missed the playoffs and they went down. So
he's so good. He's just so cunty. Like he's not
even fucking good anymore. He's dead in my. He's dead all the way through. Anybody that supports him or listens to him, you're a fucking moron. Funny hunch he might come back into it. But of course, we are in the NFL season. The Patriots got a game. Allow me to go to that direction. Patriots first. Cowboys could be a springboard game for this team. They're now 2-3. If you get the win, you're 3-3. You got the Jets next week. You assume you're going to be 4-3. That's not to say that we should think that this team's ever going to turn a switch like they have in the past. I have confidence that it's a upward trajectory for the season in terms of improvement on this team, but it's not going to be you rattle off 6, 7, 8 in a row. So you got to steal one of this Dallas game or even a Panthers game, something that's going to be close, because you dropped that shitty one to Miami and you played like ass against the Saints, who are 2 of your lesser opponents. So when I say springboard, I mean, if you get this win, you should get 2 in a row. You should get above 500. And that's really what you got to float the entire season. If you want to talk about playoffs come November, you got to be above 500 by a game or 2 or right around there. And then hopefully make a run when you've maximized your talent on the roster for this season.
Yeah, and your schedule is looking a little tougher now with the way the Chargers and Buffalo are playing. Chargers looking at going in. You saw you destroyed Herbert last year. They're 4-1, and Herbert's an early favorite to win the MVP right now, top 3. And the way he's playing, that team looks tough to beat with a good defense. Your schedule is looking tougher now, especially once you really get into November. That it's going to be make or break the next 6 or 7 games. That's it.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little eye test this week against Dallas too.
This is a big game against
the
Dallas.
other way
that
Houston
good.
went. They look like shit against Houston, but they pull out the win. Let's put it all together this week, huh? Let's not fumble away a fucking touchdown again. So we'll touch on all of that.
I got some stats for you on early lines with the Patriots Cowboy games that might make you lean on the cups of the Patriots this week.
Okay, we'll turn into Sunday early lines, even though this is Friday show.
I'm just telling you, it's
bottom of the totem pole of Dom.
Yeah.
He's sick. It's his Jordan flu game. We'll be talking about that. Marcus Smart makes the news again. The Bruins have set their roster. We haven't talked about them a little bit. We'll give them a couple minutes, but we'll be mostly Red Sox to start the show and some Patriots moving from there. But glad to have you. Glad to have you back, Bill. Welcome to the Simple Minds Sports Show. Friday headlines, October 15th. Welcome to the show.
Ray, I can tell your nose is so red because it's so big. Goes with the heritage.
Your mom likes it when I'm eating her box. It goes right in her asshole.
That's gross. Does she shit on your nose?
Sometimes. It is what it is.
Just farts on mine. If you're watching on YouTube, then please subscribe, rate, review. If you're listening on the podcast,
probably pink guy then.
Rate and review. Yeah, well, that's why I don't feel good either. Rate, review, tell your friends, most importantly. And if you can, get on down to White Birch Brewing, the best craft brewing in New Hampshire. Address, please.
460 Amherst Street.
Good side of Amherst Street. Get on down. Check out these games we're going to be talking about here on the show. Check out the Patriots game. This is a 4:00 start.
4:25.
4:25. I love the 4:25, 4:00 straddle that they do in the late games. You can, halftimes aren't different. They should do that more in the 1:00 games. Isn't that a pain in the ass in 1:00? Every fucking game's at halftime. It's like,
yeah, it's annoying.
Just tack it back 10 to 12 minutes. So
then I got to listen to fucking Sky Hansen just babble. Like, come on, put some more games on. Let's go.
If you can't get down to the brewery and bitch about that, then get at your local beer store, wherever you get it. Tell them the Simple Minds boys sent you. White Birch Brewing. What, Ray?
They also have a new release out this weekend. It's Uncle Grady's Black Forest Cake Stout. Cake Stout. Sign me up.
Cake Stout. Uncle Grady. Boom. Dr. Big Mac is in the house. Excellent. Well, of course, we are always excited about a new White Birch release. We're also excited about the Boston Red Sox. Bill's Boston Red Sox, who he's been saying has been a title contender all season long. He has been
saying it from day one, Rich.
Right
ever since that first sweep.
Of course, they'll be taking on the Astros in the ALCS. The Astros' 5th ALCS in a row. On the brink of what should be called a dynasty, even with the cheating, which we'll get into. Astros versus Sox. Sox are just 2-5 against them, but they were all muddled into that early June, late May
COVID
schedule.
stuff too. Was there a little bit of COVID for the Red
no,
Sox?
but it was just a long time ago in baseball. These teams look a little bit different from then. And I wouldn't play too much. The Rays shoved this team in a locker at the end of this season, and Red Sox came out and beat them. So just to give you a little bit of history here, moving into this series, the Astros beat the Red Sox by an average of 2 runs per game. The best starting pitcher against Houston was my guy, Nick Pivetta, who is game after game becoming more of a solidified.
Yeah, you need him against this righty heavy lineup.
9 strikeouts, 3 hits, 2 earned, 6 inning pitched against this game against Houston. Framber Valdez has owned this Red Sox team in 2 outings against them, 2-0, 1.26 ERA, 18 strikeouts, and 14 innings pitched. That's dominance, kids. The game 1 starter has been changed again. It will be Chris Sale starting game 1, Nathan Eovaldi to start game 2. Cora has said all of the remaining starting pitchers will be available for these first 2 games in Houston, the way that they approached it in 2018. I ask you, Bill, the best Red Sox manager in Red Sox history, Alex Cora, is this the right move with Chris Sale going 1, Eovaldi 3, or I'm sorry, Eovaldi 2, and Pivetta, Erod?
Sounds like Erod 3, but it's not sure. Yeah, I like it, and this is the reason now it sets them up to go in game 6 of Aldi, right? So starting 2, you're looking at 2 and 6. You'll be available probably game 4 to pitch out of the bullpen. I mean, if you think about the way Chris Sale's gone in the playoffs, 26 innings, 7.71 ERA, 1-3 record. Would you rather have Eovaldi kind of pitch after a loss, right? Or you know what I mean? If God forbid Eovaldi gets roughed up game 1, and then you go to Chris Sale game 2 with this track record. Eovaldi 32 and 2/3 innings, 198 ERA, 3-1. The only game that he lost was the Dodgers 18-inning game when he pitched pretty much a gem in extra innings, right? So, I mean, you expect, and I expect Chris Sale to lose game 1, and I expect Eovaldi to come in game 2 and kind of be that stopper. And again, it sets you up for a clinching game in game 6 if you get that far, and it also sets him up to pitch in an elimination game, who we all trust Eovaldi more so than we're going to trust Chris Sale. And it just seems like the moves Cora's made in this playoffs. There was a couple question ones going to Hansel Robles. I thought was probably his worst decision, but going back to his first World Series run, I mean, every move that he made clicked, and you see it
fucking season 2018. He didn't make a bad move.
Yeah, and it was exemplified in the playoffs. So I mean, in that, but
not to interrupt you, I heard this today too, and I thought it was a good commentary. I don't remember who it was from, probably Maz. But the idea that Chris Sale going in game 1, I don't think that they're doing that in anticipation of him getting shelled or losing. If it is, then that's a bad way to do it. But I do think that they're going with the anticipation that he might not be able to go 5, 6, 7 innings like Eovaldi can. And now if you have to bring in Pivetta for 3 or 4 innings, maybe he's more available for you in game 4 as a starter than he would be if he had to come in relief in game 2 against Eovaldi. Sorry. So yeah, I think when you put all those cards on the table, and hey, by the way, it still is Chris Sale. I get his track record sucks and he's been bad for the last month, but maybe he has something left in that fucking string bean body of his to get through 5 strong, 3 runs in and 8 Ks or whatever. I can see that.
Why wouldn't you put him in the bullpen though? Well, wouldn't you want to win?
You got no one else to start.
You got no one else started. Nick Pavetta's, you want to set him up to start later, especially at home. He pitches better at home. You're going to want him there. And he's more of a weapon out of the bullpen against a righty heavy lineup than Chris Sale is. Chris Sale's going to, I'm not saying the Red Sox set him up to lose and expect him to lose. I just expect him to lose.
Yeah, sure.
And it sucks he hasn't
to be
had
there.
a good track record either since he's came
to answer
back.
your question, Ray,
against the good teams, he's been very, very bad.
In this day and age in baseball, you need 3 starters to get through a series. That's kind of the trend now. So name me the Red Sox starters you want over Chris Sale. You only have 2 starters that I trust right now. And
you can do
Nick
Eovaldi, Pivetta, Erod, and then Tanner Huak.
Huak's better. But again, he's a lefty, and you want him pitching out of the bullpen. You don't want him starting because, again, like when you're a righty heavy lineup, they got 7 righties, I believe, in their lineup right now. So, I mean, you want to stack your right-handed pitching against that. And Tanner Huak is a better option out of the bullpen. He can eat a couple innings out of the bullpen. You've seen what he can do starting when he can only go 2-3 innings. The track record, the nerds, so I would rather have him pitch bigger innings in the later game than I would having him pitch, innings 1 through 3, truthfully. Like you're going to go Erod, and Pivetta is the real guy that should start game 3, truthfully, because I want him again to start in a pick, but I think they're going Erod. I just don't like 2 out of 3 lefties going against this lineup in the first 3 games. And that's the only issue I have.
And frankly, Tanner Hoak has been in the bullpen for the bulk of the last month. He's thrived there. And the way that the nerds in baseball looks at this now, the first 3 innings are just as important, if not less important, than the next 3 innings. It's all about when the big bulk of that lineup comes up, and that's how they're going to use their best pitching moving forward. And that being said, again, Chris Sale's been a starter his whole career, except for the beginning part where he was a little bit of a closer there. And his bullpen work with the Red Sox in 2018 wasn't fucking great either, by the way. He was okay. They put him in, it seemed like a ceremonious role to close that thing out, and he still looked shaky in 1 inning. So, yeah,
Didn't he strike out the side?
You're not set up very well pitching wise. Let's be honest. Your starting pitching is very, very weak. It should be Eovaldi, Pivetta 1-2, but they need these guys to come in the way they handle the bullpen nowadays. They need these guys to eat up those 3, 4, in Pivetta's case, 5 innings when when the game's tight. So, I think this is the right move.
So what do you think it is going to be? Go ahead. Sorry.
And if you look at to back up your point, Rich, you look at a team like Tampa Bay since 2018, they're 56% of their innings have come from the bullpen. They carry 2 starters on their ALDS roster.
Yeah.
Think about that. I mean, their new trend. Like you need these guys. You saw what happened. They got burnt out. They had no one to pitch game 4. Nobody.
So what's your realistic expectation for Sale tomorrow or tonight? Because it's Friday, obviously.
If we can get 5 innings, 1 or 2 runs, that would be, would be the hope, but I don't expect him to make it out of the third inning.
So three innings, then what? Tanner coming in for another couple innings, then bullpen.
I'd probably go Pivetta, depending on the score. I mean, honestly, I don't want to go another lefty. Make them make the changes. If you're just taking out Chris Sale, you're going to go with that righty and just start pounding that strike zone that way. You make them make changes and start making subs early in the game. I mean, that's what you're ideally going to do. And again, it sets you up to pitch game 4. And it's just, if you can get 3 out of them, I'll be happy. But Cora claims they found something in his delivery in a bullpen session this week. He thinks they figured it out. We'll see. I mean, he's got an extra day of rest.
If you can get 5 innings out of Sale and he gives up 3 or 4 and he goes 80 something pitches with 6 or 7
I'd be happy.
Strikeouts, that's what you're looking for. And Tanner comes in. You can go lefty righty there. Tanner comes in as the righty. And you can go Whitlock can come back. He can give you 2 strong innings too. So
Tanner's a lefty, ain't he? Lefty.
No, he's a righty. So I think the 5 innings, 3 or 4 runs is what you're looking for from Sale. Just get the fuck out of the first 2 innings.
I thought it was a lefty.
It's okay. So Brady, anything on tonight's game or the first 2 games of this season of the series?
For the Red Sox, obviously the bats have to come alive. They've been alive since the Rays series and the Yankees series. So if the streak keeps going, I think you're going to have to win these games 8-6. It's not going to be a low scoring 1-0 game. It's going to have to be a barrage of runs from both teams in order for them to win. So, I mean, both starting pitching isn't the best like it was back in years past. It's kind of come down to earth. The bats are the ones that are winning the games for these teams. So it's going to be a high scoring game. And hopefully JD, Kyle Schwarber, these guys that, you're relying on the big bats come alive in this series as well.
And by the way, if I can
kind of break with Houston's pitching too, their best.
If I can just chime in here on the state of baseball, all of these teams are winning with their bats. You don't see a 1-2 ball game going into the 9th inning. Like,
I haven't seen since the Nationals, right? The Nationals, when they won the World Series.
A team's break through. You know why? Because you're throwing fucking 5 guys out there a night. One of them's bound to have a bad night. Fuck your numbers. They're still people. One of them's bound to have a bad night. Hello, Hansel Robles, giving up 2 runs. And they
puked his brains out right after 2.
Come on, man. The state of fucking baseball. Like, if this is what I thank God pulling Nathan Eovaldi in the 5th inning of that game 4 against the Rays didn't come back to haunt them with Robles blowing it. But
he was pissed.
You got to tell me Eovaldi could have went 2 more innings and given up 2 more runs like Hansel Robles? I mean, come on. Hate it. Hate the way the game's being played right now. However, just a quick look back. I think this is interesting to look back. Obviously, the Red Sox played the Astros in 2018 ALCS. The Red Sox took that series 4-1, winning the last 4 games after Verlander beat them in game 1. Big differences here I see for the Red Sox. Their outfield defense had some really big plays in that series. Betts had some big plays. Benintendi had the game.
He won a game, game
catch,
4?
Or series winning catch, right? Or no, that was the fucking World Series. But he had a big game-winning catch in one of the.
No, games. It was Houston. Yeah, I don't think he had one in the World Series. It was the Houston game because it was there. It was on the road.
It's all a blur. But obviously that outfield was Benintendi in left, Betts in right, and Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field, who was the MVP of that series, wasn't he? He was.
Yeah, he had a big grand slam.
2021 defense for the Red Sox, not as good, although they lead the majors in putouts. And Kiki's probably your 3rd best outfielder out of the 6 here. But anyway, it's Renfroe in right, Verdugo in left, Kiki Hernandez in center field. Do you think that makes a big difference here? You see a big drop off in that defense, and does it come into play?
No, there's a big drop off. Jackie Bradley, Gold Glover, Mookie Betts, Gold Glover, and Benintendi was pretty. He was better than Verdugo, we'll say, there out left. I mean, I don't think it hasn't cost them yet, but you've seen some bad throws. And a lot of the, if you think about, they led the outfield in assists, but how many was it fucking backing up stupid plays by the outfielder off those walls and shit like that? So I don't think it's going to come big into play because you got a pretty spacious outfield in Houston. So
take into account defense and at the plate, Verdugo or Benintendi?
Benintendi that year. Or they're about the same player.
Verdugo was fighting for MVP of that ALDS for a minute there.
They're about the same player. I mean, Verdugo. I think Benintendi had a better year. He hit 286, 19, 20 home runs. he missed some time or injury, but I mean, honestly, it seems like those guys are truthfully a wash. They're both average major league players right now.
They're pretty
they're
close.
not.
I'll tell you what, I tell you why I give Verdugo the edge because I trust him in a big spot over Benintendi. How many times have you seen Benintendi strike out swinging in a big spot?
I like Verdugo's compete level better. I mean, you saw it last year in the shortened COVID year. I mean, he never stopped playing, and then this year too, he went through some lumps, but big hits. He had some big hits.
Of course, we're taking Kiki over JBJ. That's a no brainer.
Yeah.
And Betts over Renfroe, sure. Although, and if we're talking about that year, Mookie Betts in the Red Sox playoff stats,
he wasn't that great.
They don't give you a whole lot to be cheerful for, although he was terrific defensively in that series.
Yeah, but before that, he did win MVP that year. But he was
sucked in the playoffs. Come on,
he really sucked.
Playoffs.
He
broke
sucked
through
because
a
when
bit
he
in the
had
World Series, but he blew in the playoffs.
Yeah, he had a home run in the World Series. What game five? Game five, I think. Was it game one? I thought it was game five.
Was he on a hitless streak too for a while in the playoffs?
Yeah, he
dude. I think going into last year, he only had like 3 or 4 RBIs or some ridiculous.
He was terrific for the Dodgers last year, but that was in a fake season. Let's look at this pitching staff, which is oddly kind of similar. So Sale, Evaldi, and Erod are all still here. Definitely not the same Erod as 2018. Sale, I think Sale's a wash. Evaldi, I think, is a wash. She's just as good. And then you're replacing Pivetta with Porcello. I'll take Pivetta over Porcello, the way that Porcello was pitching at that point in time. Pivetta's running a hot streak.
He was also money in the playoffs. Porcello gave a big start, I believe, against Houston, where he went late. I think in the World Series, too, against the Dodgers. And I think he was the pitcher in game 3. He started game 3, kind of went, I'm pretty sure that was him. And then
he had good solid.
He had some good, and then he was the first pitcher out of the bullpen. Remember, the first starter out of the bullpen. And
and he was in 2018 against Verlander.
Chris Sale, he got lit up game
Sale?
1. Yeah, he started game 1 and game 1 against the Yankees too. Got lit up both games.
I just look at Pivetta and Porcello as a similar role here for this.
Yeah, I think they're both the same, but I think track record of Porcello, he was coming off a Cy Young 2 years ago. I mean, but he was money in the playoffs.
As much as I hate to say it, you are missing David Price from that 2018 game. Maybe you call that Whitlock. Maybe you call that guy Whitlock coming out of the pen. Is he as locked down as David Price turned out to be in that 18 run? He was
because I mean, after his 3rd start is when he took off that start against Houston. He got lit up, kind of beat around game 2. Sox were lucky to come back and win that, but his last start, game 5, because he closed out that game 5 and he pitched money, and then that was it. He has all the cards now. That's just what we hope Chris Sale can finally get off the hill, because they're both the same pitchers. Now we need Chris Sale to fucking figure all the cards, right?
That'd be nice. The bullpen in 18 consisted mainly of the starters, honestly, but obviously Craig Kimbrell was your closer. Not a good one, by the way.
He was not good.
Hembry was in there, and Joe Kelly, who was good. Joe Kelly ate a lot of innings there. Ryan fucking Brazier. Your 2021, yeah, again, a little bit similar. You don't have a shaky closer. You have a kind of
you don't have one
plethora of guys, and Garrett Whitlock has kind of taken on that role, but Brazier's still there. You got Huak, who we've been talking about, Josh Taylor as your lefty specialist, Hansel and Robles, and I haven't seen Ottavino in a few weeks. He might be off the train there unless
same thing with Matt Barnes. Like, those guys, it seems like
he didn't make the roster, right? Did he make ALCS roster?
No. Martin Perez made it though. They went a little.
Seen him in a few weeks
Perez Day.
He was warming up, but
you're gonna see Whitlock, Huak, Pivetta, and probably they're leaning on Brazier and Robles lately, and Josh Taylor as a lefty specialist, which they don't have a lot of in Houston.
No, and if you're comparing the two teams, you're really missing that Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly was fucking ice cold in the playoffs. He was money. All the way into the World Series. Like you're missing that. You don't have the shutdown guy. You hope Garrett Whitlock is the guy that's going to close, but you need to get there. I mean, I feel like they've been shaky. I thought their best bullpen performances have been on our starters outside of Garrett Whitlock in game 4. So, I mean,
Whitlock gave up a run though.
That was a fucking, he gave up a run against Gallo, was it? Or,
yeah, it was a shot.
Rizzo or Stan went around the fucking pole.
Yeah.
After he had 2 fucking rockets that were singles.
We're running late on this subject, but I am interested in the Houston Astros lineup. We'll skip the 18 versus 21. We'll go back to that in the series here. But just to introduce you listeners to the Astros lineup, it's fucking stacked. At catcher is Martin Melanado. First base, Yuli Gurriel. Jose
He's so
Altuve
good.
still there. Alex Bregman's still there. Carlos Correa is still there. Michael Brantley. In the outfield are some guys you probably haven't heard of. Jake Myers, Chas McCormick, Kyle Tucker.
Kyle
And then
Tucker is
DH
fucking awesome.
Their DH
Yonder
is
Alvarez, yeah.
Alvarez, who is nasty. So, and is a big lefty, big lefty bat in the middle of that lineup. So they're fucking stacked, man. Right down there, Gurriel, Altuve, Bregman, Correa, Brantley, Alvarez, right there. That's a
Brantley was number. I think Brantley was number 3 in the AL in hitting, or top 3. I don't remember exactly where he faced. He won the batting title a few years ago in Houston. He's very good. Kyle Tucker is a guy that can hit 30, 40 home runs. You know, he kind of burst on the scene last year, and they're fucking good. Yonder Alvarez is, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be a stud for a long fucking time. That lineup is sick, and even they lost Springer too. Think about this: they replaced Springer with more Kyle Tucker, and then the Myers kid. But dude, they're still mashing. Their pitching staff's not as good this year. You know, you don't have Verlander anymore, and Greinke's kind of a shell of himself. That
you said McCullers is out with
McCullers is out with forearm tightness. Their bullpens are kind of bread and butter. They got Kevin Graveman's there and Ryan Praisley. They still Garcia is not bad, and Valdez is another young pitcher. Garcia kind of came back to earth the last month of the season. He wasn't as great, but he still had like a 3.5 ERA as his rookie year. He got kind of lit up. It was the only game they lost. But I mean, their pitching staff.
I think you can get to that late inning, middle inning, late inning bullpen of the Astros. I think you can get to them. I mean, like you said, none of their pitchers been that great. Framber Valdez taking the ball game 1 has owned you, so you got to get past game 1. But other than that, the pitching doesn't scare me. Like Ray said, it's got to be a slugfest. You got to win these games 8-6, 8-7, 9-8, whatever whatever it comes to.
The Sox just have that feeling. They have that feeling. It's like you're going up against Houston.
Billy Baseball is fucking.
I'm just trying to believe here. Like
if it's Braves and Red Sox, fucking forget about it.
Oh, Braves! Look at you. See the Braves? You see the Braves? Oh,
I did.
Freddie Freeman.
Last president. Point on this Red Sox Astros. Should we be shitting on the Astros for their cheating scandal?
No, I'm done with it.
Cora.
No, I'm done with it. 5 straight. They backed it up.
If they win the World Series, or should they be considered a dynasty?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Braves.
No, take it back. No.
Okay.
I said yes.
No, you got to get that third one. We've had this conversation.
Dynasties need 3 championships. If they get another one, so
that's like saying the 04-07 Red Sox were a dynasty, right? Because that's where, if you look at the same 2 and basically 5 years, so
they went to 5. They've gone to 5 ALCSs. I mean, that's
the Chiefs a dynasty right now.
No,
done.
Yeah,
thank you.
Are the early 2000 Giants, San Francisco Giants, a dynasty?
Yep,
3 and 6 years.
Yep,
that's a tough one. That's a tough one with 3 championships because they didn't have the dominance in between. They sucked in the in between years.
I mean,
you just threw Bill a pickle.
I know. Think about it, Bill. I don't actually want your answer because we're way late on this. The rest of baseball, Dodgers forced a game 5 against those San Francisco Giants who came in nowhere, and Bills Braves golf clap advance to the NLCS. Congratulations.
Did you hear what the Dodgers doing? They're starting Corey Nebel.
Mm-hmm.
Literally pitching 1 inning, and then they're bringing Urias in right after a 20-game winner, mind you. He won 20 fucking games. How does he not start? So you can get a righty lineup in the front? It's fucking stupid. Like this is why baseball is dying. You have a 20-game fucking winner. Why is he not good enough to start the game? He hasn't lost a game in 11 fucking starts.
Yeah, the Nerds. David Roberts deserves no credit for anything that he does. The Nerds run that team. The Nerds run the game. And I hope the Dodgers get down by 6 runs in the first inning. I hope the Giants light this fucking guy up. Go San Francisco.
Corey Nebel sucks. He flamed out in Milwaukee.
You suck it, Nettle.
Bitch.
Before we get into this, I didn't put this in, but if you're feeling anxious about the Red Sox, not like Bill, who's very optimistic, he's ready to go, then check out our friend Dr. Tom at backtobasicsllc.com. That's BAK, the number 2 basicsllc.com. If you have some ailments, maybe a shitty shoulder, if you have a shitty dog, if you'd like to sleep a little bit better, then go to backtobasicsllc.com. Get a free sample with every order that you make. And more importantly, get a personal email from Dr. Tom, the CBD guru himself. And also medical marijuana. If you're interested in that, this is the guy you want to talk to. Get educated, people. Go to backtobasicsllc.com. BAK, the number 2 basicsllc.com. A win for the Patriots versus the Cowboys. How do they do it? How do they do it? I'll tell you. I'll answer my own question, Ray. You got to start with the defense. Bill, you gave us the stat. The Cowboys are first in first quarter scoring. The Patriots are 26th. Let me give you some statistics for Bill to get hard over, and Ray for you to just
Flop
pretend
around like a
Get
wet
confused.
noodle.
Get confused on.
Swing
Patriots
around like a
defense,
helicopter.
right about 5th in the league and everything. 5th in yards given up, 5th in completion percentage, 5th in touchdowns given up, 6th in interceptions, 8th in sacks. The Cowboys offense right up there at the top. 2nd in yards per game, 11th in passing yards per game at 266, 2nd in rushing yards per game to 172. Zeke had a day. And
they had
second
2 guys,
in points
Pollard
per
and
game.
Elliott, are top 10 in rushing.
Yeah, and the Red Sox.
Pollard's better than Zeke right now.
I like
guys,
Pollard a lot.
Oh, have we done this show for a year or 6 months?
No,
Okay.
no, radio.
Can I just fucking finish this before you jump all down my throat? The Cowboys are 2nd in points per game at 34. Go ahead.
Pollard's a better running
good.
back than Zeke.
It's going to come down. Like, I expect every single game for the Patriots this year to come down to a mid to late 20s scoring game. The Patriots will keep it close. Zeke Elliott should go for 200 and Pollard should go for 200 yards plus and a couple touchdowns. But that means that Dak Prescott's not slinging the ball around. It should mean that the ground game eats up clock, like we've seen all season, like we've seen the way Belichick likes to play these games. And you give a small margin of error for Mac Jones and that offense, not fumble a fucking touchdown away, and hopefully you win it 28-24, something like that. Right?
That's my
statistics.
That's my question, though. What's Belichick gonna take away? He likes to take away.
It's going to be the Tampa game plan thing. What you just hold Tampa, who I think is a very, it's a better offense than Dallas is, honestly. You know, and you kind of saw what they did. It confused Brady. They had at one point 9 defensive backs on the field. Like, you're going to see a lot of that. Dak's not the quarterback Tom Brady is.
Dallas has better running backs.
It doesn't matter. Like, you still, and fucking Leonard Fournette ran all over you. You couldn't cover him out of the backfield. So it's like, I still expect the same defensive front that we saw against Tampa. That's the only way you're going to slow this offense down. You got to confuse Dak. Dak's not the quarterback, has a quarterback mind. Tom Brady does. This is the only way you're going to win the game. It's got to be a low scoring game, and your defense really needs to step up. They're banged up. Joey Gallup's out, and then Amari Cooper's got ribs and a knee injury or shoulder injury.
Ankle, I think.
Ankle. He's beat up. So, I mean, really, you got to worry about Schultz, their tight end, who's got a
CeeDee Lamb.
It's CeeDee Lamb. So, I mean, let Amari Cooper do his thing. You should kind of do what you did against Mike Evans, kind of worry about shutting down them. You don't have that third guy Tampa has in Antonio Brown. Right. I think, again, their offense is better. You held them to 17 points.
Well, Jalen Mills has still been
points.
left off to the practice this week. He's still battling a knee, I think it is. So, yeah, that's one less guy that you have. So now you have Juan Williams going in there to guard one of these guys, Amari Cooper, or who's that other guy they have? Gallup, you said? Or he's out.
Mike Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper. But, Ray, you said you had some – you're going to save that from early lines. Do you want to tease us with some statistics on the Patriots game?
I mean, it is relevant, or, you know.
Sure. It's a 4:25 kickoff with a 66-degree day and sunny.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, give me the pats in this one with those statistics.
Yeah.
No, I think, Bill, look, you look at that Cowboys offense. They're an offense that the Patriots has defense. Historically, we keep going to this. It's not the same team. I get that. But historically, they've been able to shut down or slow down teams that want to take the bigger shot, the big shot. Right. They have had trouble with teams that can match up man to man and beat your corners man to man. And for whatever reason, Tampa Bay and Tom Brady decided not to do that. No biscuit, no risk it, no biscuit. And they almost fucking blew it because of that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers should have ran it down the Patriots' throat and made them adjust and then took advantage of it. If the Cowboys don't do that this week, they're fucking morons. And they probably won't, because Mike McCarthy is a fucking moron. So that's my question. Does Bill Belichick still have the edge on some fat dope like Mike McCarthy, who we've seen make mistake after mistake after mistake? And who's their offensive coordinator down there?
Kellen Moore.
There you go. Ray?
Who's their defensive coordinator? Dan Quinn. So the thing is,
does Dan Quinn still have a little turd in his pants from 28-3, you think?
I think so.
A little bit, yeah.
The big stat I heard today was that during the Tampa Bay game for Dallas, Dak checked out of 27 rushing plays that Mike McCarthy called for him, because obviously Tampa Bay's defense is the best running defense in the league. So if you can change it up, I'm sure Belichick can scheme it up to make it look like, hey, yeah, run on us, and just throw a dagger in there and, make Dak make those mental mistakes because Mike McCarthy is a boob as a head coach. If Dak can go in there and you can get into his head, rattle him, I think this will be a very big game for the Patriots this week.
Bill, has Dak Prescott eclipsed Mike McCarthy as a coach? Has he become too good of a quarterback for Mike McCarthy to screw up?
Yeah, I think so. He coming off that pretty devastating ankle injury last year. I mean, he was still leading the league 2 weeks in passing 2 weeks after he got hurt last year. I mean, you saw the leap he's taken. I mean, he's progressed and been a better quarterback every year. I'm not saying he's a winner, but I still think he's in that elite quarterback conversation right now. And I think he's too good for Mike McCarthy to ruin. He's not like,
well, I mean by in game, like Ray's point of, so 27 run plays, Dak goes, this is the best run defense in the fucking league. We're not running against them. Let me just throw it. He's calling it at the line, and his dumbass coach is on the sideline.
Oh, it's the same thing Aaron Rodgers was.
Game. Is Dak Prescott good enough to overcome an in-game performance of dog shit by Mike McCarthy? To answer my own question, I think the short results this year is yes. And the results to start last year was yes, he's not good. We don't have a big track record on Dak Prescott in big time moments with Mike McCarthy. And has he kind of shaken off that? There's just 2 or 3, 4 big throws in Dak Prescott's career in my mind that he's overthrown or been inaccurate on when they needed a big third down or touchdown at the end of games. I don't know. Has he shaken that off? Has he shaken that off as a $40 million guy? We'll see. I think, this might be a game that we'll see. I expect it to be close. I expect all these Patriots games to be close this year. And I guess we're at prediction time. What do you think is going to happen?
Go ahead, Ray.
All right, I'll give you some stats.
He's so mad about this because we record the early line show after, and he's such a little fucking cunt about this early line show this year that he doesn't want to lose.
Richard,
he doesn't want to shave his little baby face, so he doesn't want to give away who he's taking against the Dallas and Patriots. Do you want us to block our ears? You can give your take. Me and Bill will block our ears.
No, Bill Belichick is 5-0 versus the Cowboys all time. However, the Cowboys lead the series 7-6 in all-time meetings, but the Cowboys haven't won since 1996. I think Belichick is a goddamn genius. I think he's going to find that one thing that's going to stop this team. It's -3. I think the Patriots pull it out. They're going to beat this fucking Dallas Cowboys.
It went down.
Down,
huh?
Yeah.
Which is -3 is basically a touchdown at home, right? So
27-20, Patriots win.
Vegas thinks that the Cowboys are a touchdown better than the Patriots. I'll tell you, I've given you my prediction for this game. You want me to pick a winner and loser? I don't know. Let me say Patriots. I said this 2 weeks ago against the Bucks. That is this the game that this offense gets over the hump and they get that extra touchdown that they need to be scoring 28 points instead of 21. They did it last week against the shitty Texans. They had the drive. They fumbled one way and they got it back. Can they tighten that shit up? They're a couple fumbles away from being in the top half of the league, third of the league in scoring as opposed to the bottom third. It's only a touchdown difference and they fumbled a couple of those away. So if they can tighten their shit up like we see every week, yeah, I give them a shot. Sure, let me pick the Patriots on this show in a 28-27.
Go ahead, cunty queen.
I do. I don't know. I just don't see the Patriots being able to stop their Patriots defense stopping Dallas offense. Honestly, it just, as much as I hope it could happen, I just don't see it. I do like Dallas in this game. I think it's going to be close though. I could see a 21-17 Dallas's way, just kind of giving up those touchdowns. I don't think, just from what we've seen on Mac, I mean, he's still not scoring 20, 25 points a game. And I think, honestly, that's probably what it's going to cost, what it's going to take to beat Dallas. So, yeah, 21-17 Dallas, somewhere in that range.
We didn't talk about the Cowboys defense, which gives up a shit ton of yards and a decent amount of points. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be closer than that. We shall see. Like I said, if they win it, you should be looking at 4-3 heading into that stretch against who was in there, the Panthers, the Chargers, and
the Browns coming up, right?
Browns.
Yeah, so
Browns are in there somewhere.
3 tough games. You're looking to take.
If
you win against Dallas, you can drop 2 of 3 of those and still be in the hunt. That's my point. So are the Browns, Chargers, or Dallas got to win one of those, and then you got to beat the Panthers and Jets. Dallas should be in there as I don't know. Pick one of those 3. They got to win one. before we finish the show, we'll have some after show thoughts as we're running late here, but let's just get a quick Boston Bruins couple minutes here. They did set the roster. The big moves out of this one, Jack Studnicka, their bright and shiny centerman, the only fucking young centerman basically in the entire system, had a good camp, played well on the second line when Coyle was, had the injury jersey on there. He was sent down to the AHL down to Providence for development as a centerman. Word from Cassidy and Neely is they didn't want to put him on a fourth line. They didn't want to put him on a right wing. They want to develop this guy as a playmaking center. I'll take their word for it. Sure. Okay. No problem. They don't necessarily need him with who they have right now. And if you're just going to get buried on a fourth line, then sure, let him go play some top line minutes every position minutes at an AHL.
Yeah, and you look at his track record in the NHL. A lot of it's come at their right wing spot. You look at the uncertainty of Patrice Bergeron's future. You really need to start developing your hometown centerman, and he's the guy. Let him at least go down, play 1-2, first, second line minutes down in Providence. You don't really want the guy to develop on a fourth line who's going to look like with the Trent Fredericks of the world and. Lazar's hurt and all these other guys.
Lazar's on IR. They took Kuhlman over Wags for some speed. I guess.
And Wagner, and I think a lot of that had to do with salary cap too. Wagner was, I believe, 1.9 million. You're right up at the cap. It looks like now no one claimed them off waivers. It looks like you're trying to save some money for Rask right now. I mean that's that's honestly what it's getting at. I don't like it, but you saw Ullmark not having a great play, camp right now.
We're supposed to know the opening day goalie by today, as this is released. We don't know it Thursday night as we're recording this, but Merritt tells you it should be Swayman. Feels like they're leaning Swayman, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's just the adjustment period for Ullmark coming over from Buffalo to here. I mean, he hasn't played great. I think it's a little bit of adjustment. I expect him to play better. He was the bright spot in Buffalo the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, he's had a winning record for that crap ass team. I expect him to be better, but right now it's the way Swayman's playing. It's hard not to put him in that game one.
Absolutely.
I have two questions real quick.
No,
wait. 2 questions.
Yeah.
One, why are we starting on Saturday when the fucking season started on Tuesday? And why are we starting against the Western Conference team and not a Eastern Conference team?
The season started with the expansion team. When's the next run of games here for the NHL?
They had yesterday. They had a shit ton of games on.
It was Tuesday, Wednesday. Now they take a break and it's back to Saturday, I think, or Friday tonight. I think.
Friday, I blame it on TV and money.
Very good.
Well, they're also too. If you think about it, they're working around the baseball playoffs. They do that a lot. Same thing with kind of they work around them. It's playoffs. Yeah. They try to work with that. So
that's a good point. Okay, let's get to the simplest mind of the week. It was Ray's opening take. Kyrie fucking Irving is, obviously always in the news for being an asshole. And that's what he is. He's an absolute asshole. People should stop giving this guy the goddamn microphone or platform to be talking about. First Take. Stop doing pieces on Kyrie Irving. He's a moron. I listened to the 20-minute Instagram live today in full. He rambles about nothing. He literally says nothing. It's all about my choice. This is just me. I want to be real, man. I just want to talk to you. I'm here for the people. This is what I am. I just want to be real, man. Things are crazy, dog. I just want to be real. I'm not even exaggerating, where it's 20 fucking minutes of that bullshit. And he says he wants to be a voice of the voiceless, but he's not an anti-vaxxer, but he won't get vaxxed. He just wants to be a voice of the voiceless. The whole thing is convoluted and fucking stupid. He's given up $17 million, but he's not an anti-vaxxer. A lot of people made this point. Go get your $30 million and give it to the people who don't want to get vaxxed, that can't keep their jobs. Why don't you do that, you fucking selfless prick? You piece of shit, Kyrie Irving. The lack of... He's so disillusioned and disconnected from reality. He's 27. He's a fucking boy. He's a little baby back bitch boy that has never faced reality in his entire goddamn life and wants to speak about the world as if he's some fucking messiah when he's actually just a YouTube educated prick. He's just a prick. Like, he's not even misunderstood or coming from the right place. He's just a piece of shit prick. Stop fucking taking this guy's word as some misunderstood piece that he's trying to do good. He's not. And I've even done giving him credit for the holistic and philanthropist work that he does, because I guarantee he only gives that money so he can get the spotlight shine on him. That's what this whole fucking thing is about. Spotlight on me, on me, on me, on me. Kyrie Irving sucks. That maybe doesn't qualify for simplest mind of the week, but if you listen to the 20 minutes of him rambling, it does. That guy's a fucking moron.
Well, also that his best friend KD has turned his back on him, and basically because you know that he came down with the decision not to have him go play away games.
Yeah,
Basically,
absolutely. Everyone
it's KD and James Harden. They had a meeting. Basically, they said, we don't want him to interrupt our season. Basically,
distraction.
He is a distraction. That's all
he
he
can't practice. He shouldn't be able to play.
And he's the reason why KD's in Brooklyn. He got him to go there. We have 2 max spots. Come play over here. Let's go there.
Kevin Durant could have came to Boston, and instead
he
could have stayed in Golden State and probably won another 2 championships.
He could have gone anywhere.
And they went to play with Kyrie. He's just the worst.
You're seeing those guys they're turning their back on him, and I love it. I love the fact that he is all alone now. He has no one supporting him. He's a laughingstock of the NBA. All of his views about flat earth, fuck Thanksgiving, he's an anti-vaxxer. Fuck this guy. Fuck this insufferable prick. You are now all alone, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I'm all for people standing up for what they believe in and stuff, but he is not the right guy for this. He's a batshit mental case. Ray, you mentioned he thought he was Martin Luther King, but he's really Kanye with some dribbling skills, right? So, I mean, that's basically what he is. He's just batshit crazy. If it was somebody else, maybe that was more respected in the league. I think he could probably have some sway in it.
Sorry to interrupt you. He doesn't even say anything.
I know.
Listen to 20 minutes. Listen to 30 seconds. It's the whole thing for the rest of the way. He doesn't say, I'm not vaccinated. I'm not against anti-vaccine. Here's why. He just says, I'm just me, dog. Respect my decision.
Well, I'm talking about more of the statement that came out before the stupid IG live thing. And you know what I mean? I get the voice of the people, whatever, but he's not the guy to say shit. It doesn't make this a stance, which is what he's trying to take, coming from a guy like Kyrie Irving. If it was a more respected guy in the league saying, I don't want to get vaxxed, I'm sitting out, blah, 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 it would be more pull than Kyrie fucking Irving did it, because everything out of his mouth is fucking stupid. That's where I have a huge problem. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah. Even if he was standing for something, he's lost all credibility, and anyone taking his word or standing behind him or trying to be open to what he's saying. No, he's past that point. It's gone. It's over. He's just a prick. He's just a dumb little self-centered prick. A little boy. He's a YouTube educated little boy. He's the guy that screams at you with, I wrote it, the fucking jet fuel kit melts steel 9/11 conspirators. They watched a YouTube
inside
clip.
job.
I hate
loose change
guy. Yeah, loose change.
Is that what it was? A loose change, right? I watched that. It was
anyway,
the most ridiculous thing.
It's always good to end on a little hate. Stay tuned for the after show because we got some more hate. Marcus Smart's in the news. But before that, this has been the Simple Minds Sports Show. Friday headlines, October 15th. We'll see you on Sunday for early lines. Ray has some special stats for us. Bye-bye.
And an apology. Bye-bye.
Apology for what?
Maybe if you came up to the shows once in a while, you'd know.
Just before
never deserve an apology.
Marcus Smart.
I don't deserve an apology. Rich deserves an apology.
Yeah, I won an apology for that bet. The Patriots offensive line looked good against the Texans. What a stupid bet, Ray. Another stupid bet. The Celtics paying Marcus Smart $19 million a year. Misses a fucking plane. Good for Udoka, the first guy in 8 years to stand up to Marcus fucking Smart.
Brad Stevens ain't making that call. That's coming down from head coach. Good for him.
Danny
Make
Ainge
a statement right away.
Call.
You got to send a message. I mean, he's the fucking, he's the catalyst of causing rifts in the locker room, which we all three of us believe. You need to send a message. You're in charge now. You're not playing for no fucking players. Yeah. Oh, gee golly, guys. No, this guy's coming in and sending a message right away, and it's good to see. Good,
especially
good start.
Especially with the COVID outbreak, and now Al Horford's on the COVID list. You have Jaylen Brown already on the list. Now you have got Marcus Smart missing planes, going on another chartered plane by himself. This is unexcusable. This is a season. This is all business. All hands on Dick here. Let's fucking get it done.
It's not Tuesday.
IMA's not fucking around. I love it.
I think that you can feel it even as soon as Ime had that first press conference, and even before that, talking about the Jays and like people trying to shoehorn Marcus Smart into that. I don't think Ime's kind of feeling it and having it. You can feel that undercurrent of like Marcus Smart's going to have to prove it to me. He might have the hearts and minds of Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens, but he's going to have to prove it to me because I just see a guy that what the three of us see, who's just a problem here and a problem there and has some skill. And if he learned his fucking role, he'd be a good piece for us. But until then, he's going to have to prove it for me. And I think this suspension, kind of proves that. That he's and again, it's like these Kyrie delusional people. Marcus Smart's not the fucking heart and soul of the Celtics. He's never has been. Get that out of your head. Just because he dives on the floor doesn't make him the heart and soul of shit. He's a loudmouth. He's also an idiot. Listen to the shit that he talks about. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's loud and boisterous and dives. So people think he's, a hustler and a grinder. He's not. He's just another fucking guy out there that causes trouble. So we know Marcus Smart for about a year and a half now. Hopefully this is writing on the wall that hopefully he has a good part of the season and they trade his ass.
Oh, one can only hope, Rich.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck.